Exciting stuff. Seeing as Manchester City has been trying to prepare for a lot of things. Of course, my Odia, I know, did start off a bit sketchy, but I do believe we are good to go right now. Let's get proper into it. Take a look at this. Have been reduced mostly to one team. Manchester City is the only club still competing for all major titles. Pep Guardiola's side are just a win from the Premier League title after their domineering 3-0 thumping of Everton at Goodison Park in their last game, and Arsenal's disappointing home loss to Brighton by the same margin put the citizens 4 points clear with 3 games left. A dilapidated Chelsea at home, a trip to Brighton, and a visit to the American Express Community Stadium. Surely they should be able to win one of these games. But Sheikh Mansour did not break the bank to sign the best coach and striker in the world just to win another Premier League title. Pep knows that his major task is to win the UEFA Champions League and cement Manchester City's arrival on the table of men, and they have put themselves in a very good position to achieve this. With the point picked at the Santiago Bernabeu in the first leg, the Sky Blues will have the advantage as they host the defending champions on Wednesday. Unbeaten since February with 18 wins and 4 draws, Guardiola has asked his players to relax and do what they have done for the past 4 or 5 years. Well, perhaps they will need to do even more, since what they have done in those years has failed to yield them the UEFA Champions League title. Key to note is that Manchester City has won all their 8 European home ties in which they drew the first leg. Should they win this one, they will face either Inter Milan or AC Milan in the final of the UEFA Champions League. Them. It's going to be again very interesting to see how that goes. Then they have got Brentford in their final game over the season on the 28th of May. Now, the multi-million dollar question is then how exactly should Manchester City approach these games? Now, remember, like I said, they don't return in the English Premier League before playing the UEFA Champions League. But I think it's a good thing for them because they will be returning to action when Arsenal has already played their Premier League game, and you think that would perhaps give them the pace and rhythm to go into that game. But if you look at the 3 remaining games Manchester City has, Manchester City, Chelsea at home, a dilapidated Chelsea, you feel this is an easy one, they can easily win. Of course, it's a big grudge match, it's a rivalry, and even if Frank Lampard and his Chelsea have been out of sorts in every sense of the word, well, certainly for a game like this, the players can be psyched up and would not need a lot of motivation to come out there and try to spoil the party for Manchester City. But if you look at it with what's at stake for Manchester City, to be honest, I think they will be able to win one. Even if they don't beat Chelsea, they will be able to beat either Brighton or Brentford. So for me, I think the Premier League is a gone case. Win one game, go 8 points clear of Arsenal, even if they lose the final 2, and Arsenal won their last 2 games, they will be still, 2 points shy, because a win would put actually a point shy. A win for Man City would put them 7 points clear of Arsenal, because remember, they do have a game in hand. Arsenal has got 2 remaining games. So for me, it's going to be I think a total complete no-brainer. I do believe Man City is certainly going to win this Premier League title. Those are 2 remaining games for Arsenal. They have got Nottingham Forest away on the 20th of May. Then, of course, later on, on the final day of the season, they play against Wolves. So, in terms of Premier League, that's one trophy down, if you ask me. There are no question, no debates about that. But if you think otherwise, if you think it's not yet done in the Premier League, again, like I said, you know what to do. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, you do go ahead and subscribe, and let's get proper into that conversation. I do want to pick your mind on that one. Now, away from the Premier League, they are as well in the race for the UEFA Champions League. Now, this is the trophy that Sheikh Mansour broke the bank for. He broke the bank, brought in the best manager in the world in Pep Guardiola, not to win the Premier League, because past managers have won that for Man City. Talk of Manuel Pellegrini, talk of, name them, Mancini, Roberto Mancini. They have won it before. So Pep Guardiola was never brought to win the Premier League. Not that it's not important. It is. But I think Man City had reached a point, a level where they can, season in, season out, expect themselves to be competing for the Premier League title. The reason Pep Guardiola was brought was, first of all, to maintain them there, but most importantly, to win them the UEFA Champions League title, because then they would cement themselves as a top dog, as a top team, get to the table of men when you talk world football or European football. So Guardiola has failed on that. Was beaten. The closest he came was in 2021, beaten in the final by Chelsea. Painful loss that. But if you look at where Manchester City are right now, if you look at the position they have got themselves into right now, this could be a very, very realistic chance for them to go all the way and win this UEFA Champions League title. First of all, they played so well in the first game against Real Madrid. If you do remember, they went out there at the Santiago Bernabeu and they did apply themselves so properly. If you look at those stats closely and you see what they did there, they dominated possession at the Bernabeu. It's not easy. These are 14-time European champions, the defending champions, coached by arguably one of the best managers of all time in Carlo Ancelotti. But Man City go out there and play their game, no respect to the Bernabeu, but they dominated possession by about 50%. Then they go on to create more chances, more shots on goal. They had a lot more shots on goal than Real Madrid. I think Madrid had 2, they had about 6. So it shows you that even away, if they could travel and play with such confidence and, you know, and character, it shows you now playing at home, certainly they will be even more prepared, because this is the game they have certainly been hoping for. So I think in terms of preparation and, you know, what they have been doing, having disposed of Everton and, you know, got within touching distance of the Premier League title, for me, certainly for me now, Manchester City has no excuse. They have got to go home and beat up on Real Madrid, and I think they will. Well, Real Madrid can never be a walk in the park. Of course, people are saying this is the ultimate test. Indeed it is, because certainly if Man City are going to win the treble, their hardest test is going to come on Wednesday against Real Madrid at home at the Etihad Stadium. If they pass that test, it's almost done and dusted, because if they did beat up on Real Madrid, they will most likely meet Milan. Now, if you look at that, Milan are 3-time champions, yes, but they are not, you know, the strongest of teams. Milan did win, of course, in the Milan derby at the Giuseppe Meazza Stadium against AC Milan. They did win by 2 goals to nil. They are 3-time champions, but you feel even if they actually progress to the final and met Manchester City, I feel Man City looks like a better team. I think they would beat them. Never mind the pedigree and stuff. I do believe this is Man City's season. So for me, Man City for me is a odds-on favorite to win this UEFA Champions League title. They have put themselves in a very good position. They have got, you know, a deep squad, no injuries concerns for them. I don't see how they can be stopped when it comes to the Champions League. So for me, that's where I think it's actually a very realistic chance they can win this treble. Of course, the whole world of football that is anti-Manchester City is looking at Real Madrid to spoil the party for them. Well, they probably will coming into this game knowing surely that not so many people will be supporting them, of course, but I think it's in their hands. I think the ball is in their court. But you can call on those that WhatsApp number +256 0764750280. From wherever you are, you can call in and let's get proper into that conversation and let me know what you think. Do you think Manchester City have got what it takes now to win what would be their first European treble? Do you think they have done the home treble in England? They have never won the European treble. They have never won the UEFA Champions League. Now imagine, they have never won the UEFA Champions League, but their first title coming with two others, that is including the English Premier League and the FA Cup. That would be, I think, dreamland for them, moment of utopia for Pep Guardiola and the boys. But the investment has been made for a long time. They have been consistent with it, and you surely feel it would be worth it whenever it came. But of course, moving away from Real Madrid and Manchester City and the Champions League, and which I think for me they are still favorites. I actually think at the end of the live I will be giving you my prediction, but I do think they are in a good place. Talk about the 3rd of June, the FA Cup final against Manchester United. Now, these ones are never easy games. They are never easy games. Never mind the difference between Man United and Man City being day and night. That's the truth. Whether you like it or not, if you're a Man United fan, whichever team you support, I get it. I get you love Man United. I get you love your team. But the truth is, the difference right now between Man United and Manchester City is day and night. Yes, I know that. But being that this is a derby and it's a final at Wembley, the whole ball game is different. It can't be a walk in the park for Manchester City. It will certainly be a difficult game. Well, the psyche will be on. There are always hard fights. There are always knuckles and fighting and what have you. But I do think, given what is at stake for Manchester City, I do feel they will come into that game as odds-on favorites, feeling like, because by that time, the Premier League will be done. They will have already known their fate when it comes to the Champions League. They will have, either progressed or not. So for me, it will be so difficult for Manchester United to stop Man City from winning that FA Cup title at Wembley on the 3rd of June. So that is why I feel, and the most important thing why it's very easy for Man City now, the position they have put themselves in, but also the lack. They don't have serious injuries. They don't have injuries in their team. All their key players are fit. Unless something happens in the next game at Real Madrid, because you expect him to bring his best team and something happens. But even then, the team that beat Everton 3-0 can easily beat Man United in the FA Cup final. That same team, or even other players on the bench, Bernardo Silva, name them, players who didn't even play in that game, can still go on and beat Brighton and Brentford. So in terms of squad depth and balance, they have got all of it in all departments. So it's going to be so difficult for Man City to drop a single ball at this stage. So for me, it's a gone case. I do see. Well, of course, the gods of football are quite mischievous, that they even give the underdogs a chance. They can do that. Well, not 100%, but in my honest prediction, I think Manchester City are going to win the treble this season. It may not sound so good to a Manchester United supporter, to an Arsenal supporter out there, but I think Manchester City are in a good position. Everything favors them to win this treble. If they don't, it will be upon them. The ball is in their hands right now. They have got themselves here. How they manage the games now, for me, is all that will determine whether they go on to win the treble. But well, I do want to pick your comment on that. Like I said, first subscribe, smash that button, the subscribe button. Of course, slide into the comment section as well, and let's see what you think about that. I do want to get your comment on that to see whether you actually feel like this Manchester City is at that level. They are good enough to win that treble. It's going to be it would be an exciting season, to be honest. Even if you're not a Man City supporter, I think you would feel like, yeah, they have earned it. They have earned it. They have earned the right to win such a big title. You would feel like they have done a lot in terms of the investment they have made, in terms of the way they play. I mean, Man City is one of those teams that I think consistently win games by application. Like they apply themselves, they have a game plan, and they beat you because they have been a better team. Many a time we've seen teams come out there and win games of football, but honestly, you go out feeling like the better team lost or by sheer luck. But I think Manchester City is one of those teams that has consistently been winning games for, with a lot of confidence and application. And you think such a team would deserve anything that they win. But also the investment they have made. You look at the players they have signed over the years. Well, this is what they have been building for. This is what they have been working for. Well, you feel they have got to, get a return on investment. And the best return on investment in football is winning titles. So how then do you think would Sheikh Mansour feel if Man City won this treble? I mean, won the Champions League the first time with the Premier League and an FA Cup victory in a final against Man United at Wembley and beating Arsenal to the Premier League title, knocking out Real Madrid, the record winners of the UEFA Champions League. Wouldn't that be dreamland if you think about it? So I think it's a good place they're at right now. I think if I would choose to be anyone right now, I would choose to be Sheikh Mansour or someone from United as I sip on my water. Yeah, so let me know what you think. Do you think they will bottle it? Do you think Manchester City, yes, they are here, but the gods of football might shock them and they actually win nothing or win only one trophy? I think, by the way, if Man City won only one trophy out of the three they are in right now, for me it would be a bit of disappointment. I think it wouldn't be proper success. The obvious one now, I think, for them is the Premier League. But if they won only the Premier League and failed in the Champions League and didn't beat Man U to the FA Cup title, I would feel Pep Guardiola wouldn't be so proud. I think they would be disappointed in themselves because, look, besides Real Madrid, who is a giant of an opponent, I don't think, any other opponents in their way. Like I say, they only need to win 4 games. And by the 4 games, I mean win 1 of the 3 remaining games in the Premier League, beat Real Madrid in the second leg of the semi-final on Wednesday, then beat... there's only 1 game in the final. Beat AC Milan or Inter Milan, whoever they face in the final. Then the other one is the FA Cup final against Man U. So those are 4 victories. With the squad they have, I think these are easy victories for them. But I'm seeing phone calls coming through, but they're dropping off. I do wonder why. Well, you can keep them coming. If not, you can just go into that comment section and... I will be enjoying a bit of football talk. You go on there in that comment section and let's get to hear your opinion. And first, of course, and most important, you've got to subscribe to the channel first so that you're able to enjoy these conversations and topics as they do come. Well, Man City has been the talk of the day today. But next time maybe we'll be talking a bit about other teams we've not spoken about so much yet, at least not for now when it comes to this channel. But yeah, it's always bound to get hot when you talk about the hottest team in the world of football. That's why I'm sweating. If you look at me closely, I'm sweating so bad right now. But it's been a hot topic, really. Man City winning a treble, I think is something huge. But yeah, do they have one hands on it? Well, perhaps they do. But I'm imagining if Man City won this treble, what would Sheikh Mansour do to these players? I see these billionaire guys, many times, reward these players with expensive cars. Now, of course, Man City players are some of the most highly paid players in the world. I do wonder what Mansour would give Pep Guardiola and the squad if they won this treble. Have you thought about it? By the way, football is such a beautiful game, and the beauty of it is it's not just about enjoying. There's actually lots of money in this beautiful game. That's why I think if you have a kid out there and they've got some talent in players and how much it will change their lives and the lives, of course, the fans of the team, and it's amazing. That's the beauty of the beautiful game. That's why we love it. But yeah, thank you so much for being a part of the conversation. Well, I think I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. Today it's been mostly about Manchester City and the treble. Whether you think, well, there's a comment here from a gentleman here called Shadrach. He's saying Real Madrid, we are behind you. This should be an Arsenal fan. He's saying Madrid will spoil the party. Well, Shadrach, are you saying this as an Arsenal fan or... Yeah, but yeah, it doesn't matter anyway. But yeah, that's according to Shadrach. He feels Madrid is going to do it for them. Surprisingly, the funny thing about football is that we might all be focused on Madrid to spoil the party for them. But it might actually be spoiled by Chelsea because, well, Chelsea being Chelsea, even if they are out of sorts, well, they can beat up on Man City. Brighton, at this level, at this point, Brighton can beat anyone, depending on the mood they are in. But also, Brentford is the other team that could shock you. That's how stubborn football can be. That's how mischievous football can be. So these are my opinions, but it's not done yet. There are several more games to play. 3 in the Premier League, at least for now, 1 in the Champions League and 1 in the FA Cup. How they handle those, we'll be finding that out. But thank you so much for being a part of the channel. From wherever you are, of course, watching this, or those who will catch the recording later on, just subscribe to the channel, share to your colleagues, and let's keep enjoying this beautiful world of sport here on the Hotspot. I am Web Daniel. Have a good night.